What is good, Neo family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the one and only Neo stock, and why I'm still very bullish for the long-term future. However, today, Neo was a little bit in the red, down 0.03%, and I do want to talk about what on earth caused Neo to be in the red. As you guys know, it's not entirely Neo's fault. The US had a new jobs report that just came out that affected the market. The Fed did make some new moves, and there are some crazy things going on across the globe that I need to talk about. I also need to talk about some big pieces of news coming out for Neo, as it still looks very, very bullish for 2022. I'm also going to end the video with what Neo put on their Twitter page that makes me very, very happy and bullish for the future, as Neo is not just about making money, guys. It's a company with a very, very, very good mission to help save the world. Now, before I do talk about what Neo is doing, before I talk about Neo's share price or anything like that, I do have to mention some very important things. First off, I'm not a financial planner, guys. This is all for educational and entertainment purposes only. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Neo community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below and in the description. If you do sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're going to get up to 5 free stocks, each with up to $3,500. You're also going to get free real-time level 2 data for US stocks and $0 commission trading. So please check out the link down below. And if you do sign up and put in $100, you'll get free money. So please, please, please do that. And with that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So looking at Neo, we're just barely in the red today, guys. We almost had a green day today. In fact, we're down 0.03%. Now, looking at it from a technical standpoint, obviously, it does not look too bad, so to speak. Now, the thing about Neo is, look at this right here, okay? If you look at Tesla, it's down 3.54%. If you look at the S&P and all over the market, guys, we're seeing red everywhere, right? It's not just Neo's fault that's causing this, though. And the reason why the market's in the red is because of very big things that are happening. The S&P is down 0.4%, the Nasdaq's down 0.96%, and that's because of some very important things that I have to discuss. So the US had a jobs report that just came out. CNBC reported it right over here. Basically, payrolls only rise by 199,000 in December, but the good thing is that unemployment fell to about 3.9%. Now, the important thing that I have to talk about is the fact that the employment window in America is currently a lot narrower right now compared to where it was before the pandemic started. So this data is a little bit skewed, but it is kind of good, so to speak, when it comes to unemployment. But when it comes to the numbers in themselves, guys, it's not necessarily good. As you guys know, it was estimated that we should have had 422,000, right, new payrolls that are rising, and instead we ended up with 199,000. So it didn't look too good, and because of that news, the Fed stated this right here. Basically, Jerome Powell, the chairman of the Fed, he stated that this is kind of concerning, so to speak, and he did talk about how the Fed is going to be tightening even more because of things like this. Now, the Fed is going to be tightening because of the fact that unemployment is employment is not reaching the levels we wanted to reach right now. A lot of Americans are not necessarily working, or at least like available to be employed right now compared to before, and that is concerning because the US economy is now kind of beginning to struggle, so to speak. So the Fed is going to be a lot more hawkish. They used to be very dovish, now they're more hawkish, and they are going to be raising rates to address a lot of the problems going on. So in turn, they are kind of like slowing down the economy, right? That's their way of addressing inflation. But at the same time, guys, I don't think it's their intention to crash the market, so to speak. It's just something that has to happen in order to save us from bigger issues. Now, another big piece of news that I have to talk about is this right here, guys. There's a lot of civil unrest in Kazakhstan. Now, I'm not going to go into any detail about what's actually happening, but I just want to know that this has led to a lot of issues, right? A lot of big issues out there. Kazakhstan is the second biggest country for Bitcoin mining, and it lost its internet access because of what's going on there. And that in turn really, really hurt crypto, guys. Crypto started taking a big hit, and this in turn does affect the stock market because Kazakhstan is a country that provides all these commodities to countries like the US, such as 40% of the world's, I believe, uranium supply. And that's very important because they've been a very good supplier. But the problem is now that this big, protest and the unrest is happening, it could actually affect these supply chains, which could in turn affect the US economy. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be like this is all there is to it, but this does at least somewhat play a role. And I do believe that this did play a role in the market being red. It definitely caused crypto to crash. But the thing about the market is, even though it's in the red, there is some fear associated with the Fed becoming tighter and stricter. Now, the fear and green index is not necessarily reporting that, though. It currently says that the market's pretty neutral, not necessarily more greedy or more bullish. I'm sorry, more greedy or fearful. It looks more neutral. And I don't necessarily agree with this. You could argue that, but I do think we should be a little bit more on the fearful side. But as of right now, guys, look, things are pretty uncertain because we don't know exactly how the market's going to respond. Now, I want to ask you a question. Okay, I showed you guys the jobs report, right? It was pretty low compared to where it should have been, not necessarily good. I showed you guys what the Fed is doing, right? I showed you guys the situation in Kazakhstan. Where on earth do you see Neo? Do you guys see Neo in any of these articles? And my argument is that look, the SPY is down, Tesla is down, Neo is just barely in the red, down 0.03%, but Neo is not the reason why it's in the red. Neo is not causing it to crash the way it is. It's not Neo's fault. So don't attack Neo because of that, guys. Neo is simply doing their job. They're crushing it. Their fundamentals are there, and they're getting better and better and better amidst all of this chaos that's going on in the market. So it's not Neo's fault, okay? I need to make that very clear. I have to stress that as much as I can. So when it comes from a technical perspective, look at this right here. We're currently trading below the exponential moving averages. We are treating this one right here, the short-term time frame one, as resistance, or like maybe we're a little bit above it, but we're pretty much treating it as resistance, right? But the thing is, the MACD right now is indicating that we were on a bearish cycle, or at least there was some bearish momentum right here. But then we started to drop, and it's getting closer to crossing with the 9-day moving average. You can see that these histograms are getting smaller, which means that this is a sign that we could start rebounding next week. The CCI is looking pretty good too, but the RSI is very oversold right now at 36.18. So if the market suddenly begins to rebound just a little bit starting next week, Neo should have a lot of green coming its way, guys. It's heavily undervalued. It's underrated in my opinion, and it has a lot of big moves to come. Now, what do I think is going to play out? Obviously, the MACD hasn't crossed just yet, so we could maybe dip a little bit to the 28, but then once we hit that low, it seems like Neo is showing a lot of strength, and it could start to rebound and go as high as the 30 starting next week. That, in my opinion, could be very good, but it is dependent on the overall market. So I'm not some kind of sorcerer that knows exactly what the market's going to do, for next week. But based off technicals, it does look not too bad, right? It doesn't look bad, so to speak. The technical indicators are showing some signs of a rebound. So I'm very hopeful for the future, but don't just worry about tomorrow, guys. Don't worry about next week. Remember, the long term is what makes this company very good, and that's why I want to talk about this right here. Now, the Motley Fool talked about why NEO crashed in December and continues to fall. Once again, it's kind of a FUD article, but they have no good reason as to why this is happening. They're basically talking about the fact that there was a small drop in their vehicles their deliveries in October. But besides that, guys, there's nothing else to say, guys. They absolutely killed it, right? They proved naysayers wrong by reporting a 105.6% rise in November deliveries. They absolutely crushed it again and again and again. And they also killed it during their Neo Day. I mean, the ET5 was absolutely crushing it. They had very good deliveries numbers. They did everything right, guys. Okay, it does not matter in my opinion. So they did next to everything right. They did super well, and yet the share price did not move. And this is once again showing that Neo has a lot of potential, and the share price is not reflecting the company's true value just yet. I do think it's going to be very undervalued if they keep on improving and it doesn't really move quite soon. So look at this right here. Forbes is now stating, and this article came out today, NEO is poised for a solid 2022. This article talks about some very big moves that NEO could be making, as it states that NEO is going to be improving when it comes to their production, the factories, the deliveries. They should be doubling the production relatively soon within the next couple of months. And on top of that, guys, we're seeing consistent 109% rises here and there, left and right. They're just killing it. Their numbers are just doing super well. It also talked about the fact that they're going to be expanding, right? Expanding to other countries very soon. And that in turn is going to improve their fundamentals, their deliveries, their numbers, their revenue, all sorts of things like that. So I just think it's a very good sign in my opinion, guys. They have big projects coming out in 2022, and a lot of people are anticipating for them to have some very good numbers for the ET5 that's coming out, as deliveries and production are coming out very soon. So once again, guys, I'm very excited, guys. I'm super excited, right? By mid-year, their production should be 240,000 vehicles a year by mid-2022, according to their estimates. Once again, very awesome, guys. That's very awesome in my opinion. And when that actually happens, if they actually achieve that, it should be very good for the stock price. Because remember, Tesla did like 900,000, 930,000 in a year. Neo's almost at 240,000 in a year, despite the fact that Neo is way younger. No, I'm not trying to say Neo is better. I think they're both great companies, but Neo has insane growth potential, and they're just killing it left and right. So the last thing I want to talk about is this right here. Neo put this on their Twitter page. And the thing is, Neo is not just some kind of company that's just all about making money or anything like that. They talked about the fact that, look, there are real issues out there, right? Climate change, you could have your own opinion on it, but at the end of the day, I always tell people, like, it's safer to assume that global warming is legitimate, and instead of trying to risk it, because at the end of the day, we have to get away from fossil fuels, and this is part of what Neo is doing. They're trying to basically lead the world into clean energy. They're trying to really, really improve these issues, and they've been doing a lot of progress. They've been doing really well according to Science News. I just want to give them a huge, huge, huge shout out, guys. They, alongside Tesla and other big companies out there, they're making a difference. They're making a big difference in this world. They're improving the earth. They're improving the environment. I just want to give them a big shout out because I believe that this is just the beginning, and bigger things are just going to come. So don't just look at Neo as a company that's just going to make you money. Also look at the fact that it's helping to improve the earth. It's helping to improve our climate. It's helping to make these big changes that are going to improve the quality of life of living things, of humans all over the world. With that said and done, guys, I want to thank you all for listening. Don't lose faith in Neo, okay? Tomorrow, I'm sorry, next week, we could drop as low as 28, but then we should start creeping up to the 30s shortly after. That's very probable based off what these technical indicators are showing, but I can't guarantee that, right? I can't guarantee that because I don't truly know. But at the end of the day, that's why you have to look at the long term and look at the fundamentals, because this company has brilliant fundamentals. I believe they're going to crush it if you just give them the time they need, and they are going to improve their production, their deliveries. Everything's going to improve, in my opinion, and I just can't wait for what the future holds. So please just sit on tight, guys. Don't lose it if you see some red days, because the entire market is red, right? The large majority of the stocks from the NASDAQ and other things like that, they're in the red. So don't lose faith, guys. Remain calm, cool, and collected. Thank you for listening. Have a good one. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Neo to the moon, and peace out.